final score, Wrexham 3, Hull City 3. Wrexham win 5-3 on penalties. And henceforward, the 12th of August shall be known as Ollie Palmer Day, the day when Ollie Palmer did that thing. That was quite the ride. I mean, honestly, very difficult to quantify that match. It was a typical Wrexham match, wasn't it? Let's be honest. Maybe it's important to get a few introductory contextual facts going first. Hull City made 6 changes from the side that played the first game of the season, a really good draw at Coventry. And of those 6 changes, it's got to be said, I mean, you've got 2 big signings for them, Ollie McBurney and Joe Gelhardt, coming into the team, having been on the bench on Saturday because they signed quite late in the window. You've also got John Egan coming in, and that's not the worst player to bring in, is it? Let's be honest. And Casey Palmer, who was absolute class, coming in as well off the bench. So it was a really strong Hull side, and I think Hull are going to be decent this season. Wrexham make 11 changes, so all players apart from Hardy who were with us last season. And all I can say is it's a pleasing comment then on our strength and depth. Obviously, we have too many players, and it seems inevitable some of those players won't get registered. And yet, I tell you what, they looked to make a few points just to put their names in Phil Parkinson's mind. Anyway, Hull started really well. They were moving the ball around so nicely. These lovely little 45-degree flick-on passes, and the weight on them was good. McBurney was linking play up like the quality target man that he is. Palmer, playing behind him, was carrying the ball to great effect. They were very easy on the eye and played some nice stuff and had a decent chance, the first chance of the match, actually, from a free kick. Giles whipped it in. McBurney, just outside the 6-yard box, got up, made a decent contact and put it just wide. I think he'd be disappointed not to have worked Arthur Okonkwo in goal. But Wrexham started to get back into it after about 10 minutes. We started winning the ball back well, high up the pitch. We started getting a bit closer. We started to hurry Hull, and their passing just started to go off a little bit. I mean, they've got Lundstrom, who's a terrific playmaker at the back, spraying that ball around. But yeah, we were starting to disrupt them. Our midfield playing quite high, and Hardy and Smith working like crazy and grinding the whole defence down. And we started to create chances. Firstly, George Evans, who I thought in the first half looked like the absolute Rolls Royce that we know he is, winning the ball back really well, finding Harry Ashfield, who fed a quick ball down the right, and from there Longman whipping it across, half cleared, and following us past up, Ashfield arrives on the edge of the area, hits a powerful stroke, but Lundstrom blocks bravely. He then needs treatment, having taken that powerful shot to the head. A couple of minutes later, Wrexham again Evans doing extremely well, played into a bit of a hole, facing his own goal in the centre circle. It looks like he's losing the ball, but he manages somehow to hold on to it and find O'Connell. O'Connell knocks it over the top, nice pass down the right, and Hardy, and I've got to say this was characteristic of his performance, a beautiful take by him on the right hand side of the box, cuts inside from just outside the area, drills in a powerful shot, too straight though, a straightforward save for Dylan Phillips in the whole goal. At the other end, we then get caught in possession. O'Connell stepping up the pitch. He's playing on the right of the back three in the Clewer role, but he runs into trouble, loses the ball to Tinsdale, and Hull break down that flank. Tinsdale picking it up again, finding McBurney. O'Connell's made a really good recovery run and manages to stand in McBurney's path. McBurney down a left channel, does beautifully, fakes to go one way, does the other, loses O'Connell and drives in a powerful shot, a good parry by Okonkwo. It's got a great flow to it, this game, and Wrexham are just looking a little bit better, if I'm honest, a little bit more threatening. The whole defence looking a bit more hurried than ours. Good ball then by McLean. Finds Hardy. who is unlucky. He tries the same sort of manoeuvre as McBurney did, cuts inside. Egan, off balance, just manages, as he's falling, to put his foot out and poke the ball away from Hardy, otherwise he'd had a clear sight of goal. But the goal does come in the 36th minute. Lovely ball by Harry Ashfield, just pinging it across to the left-hand side. McLean brings it down nicely. Aaron James overlapping on the left does really well. He combines nicely with McLean. James pulling it back to McLean, who squares it to Lee on the edge of the box. Left channel, driving at his man. And now he does that little trick, dumps his marker on his backside, drills in a shot which takes a deflection and flies over Phillips, and Wrexham have got the lead. Great stuff, and we look good until in the 36th minute we are completely ripped wide open by a terrific run down the right by Cody Drame. And I really, it's sort of one of those goals which is beautiful because it's simple. The timing of the passes, the weight on all the passes, that none of them are rocket science, but it's just executed nicely. Drame picks up a loose ball, basically. Sam Smith has got in and bravely won a header. He's unlucky that it drops to Drame, who immediately in his own half goes driving forwards, works it inside to Gelhardt and continues his run. It's a lovely ball to Gelhardt, which invites a first-time return pass. Gelhardt executes it perfectly. Drame's on the back of the defence, pulls a good ball into the near post. Proper strikers run by McBurney across the box to the near post, and he drives it in. Scar tracked him well, but it's a good finish by McBurney, who manages to hit it with power and lift it over Scar. And it's interesting what happens to the rest of the half. There are no more goalmouth incidents in the rest of the half, but something happens which will make Palmer's heroics even more interesting and notable. Hull, having equalised, essentially just take control of the ball and the tempo of the match for the rest of the half. So the next 10 minutes is essentially Wrexham chasing the ball. Now, Hull aren't really making anything, and we know Wrexham are good under Phil Parkinson at defending, keeping our shape mid-block and holding teams at arm's length, and we do that really well. But Hull show that they can control possession, that they can control the game. They slow it right down, they're moving it about, and I must be honest, at half-time I thought, I'm glad that didn't happen sooner, because if they are able to do that with a good length of time left in the match, they could really control matters and take their time, patiently working openings and get there eventually. But we get to half-time, and it's different in the second half. We come out as we did for that 20-minute period in the middle of the half, putting pressure on, and we cause problems. In fact, a minute into the second half, we have a big chance, and what a shame that Hardy misses it. Having played so well, he then gets his reward, a glorious opportunity, and he's not able to take it. It all starts off with some really good pressure on the right-hand side. Ashfield doing well, feeding it on to Longman, and Longman drives down the flank, whips the ball into the far post. Hardy's lost his man, he's unmarked at the far post, and he heads it wide. I mean, he couldn't believe it. It was a lovely ball in, he wasn't stretching for it, and Hardy's such a good finisher, will be so annoyed at that. Hull were unhappy. They thought that Ashfield had fouled Lundstrom to win the ball. Ref doesn't give it, and he's setting a precedent for something rather important later on. Wrexham making another opportunity. O'Connell standing the ball up towards the edge of the area. Good aggressive play by Smith, forces Drame to take his eye off the ball, and it ricochets off his head. It's a chance for Hardy cutting inside, but Hughes gets a good block in on his challenge. Charlie Hughes, who is being pursued eagerly by Coventry. Hull have turned down a £7 million offer, and you could see his quality. He was absolutely superb at the back for Hull. But then Hull start to come back into it themselves, start to control the ball. Casey Palmer, when he gets the ball dropping off between the lines, he's finding space and he's driving into them. He carries the ball so smoothly and he looks dangerous. On this occasion, he manages to intercept Evans' pass forwards, feeds it up to McBurney. He lays it back to Palmer, and from the edge of the box, he hits a sweet strike with power the outside of his foot, just looking to shape it with pace inside the left post. An outstanding save by Okonkwo, lunging across to tip it away. He reread the shot well. He saw what pace he was going to try and got across and did ever so well. But Hull are starting to impose themselves again. A really nice, snappy move. Lundstrom at the heart of it, popping it to Hughes. Hughes a really good progressive pass to Tinsdale on the edge of the box, and he helps it on round the corner. Palmer left channel, one-on-one with Okonkwo. It's coming down the outside his left foot, and he decides, I think understandably, he's going to hit it first time and try and pull it across Okonkwo before the keeper can set himself. He doesn't pull it enough, and he drives it straight at Okonkwo. On the hour, Wrexham back up the other end. This time, it's a good piece of work in midfield. Hardy, good tackle, wins the ball. Smith feeds it on, and Ashfield, fabulous moment this, just sidesteps his man beautifully, leaves him for dead, looks to rip it into the top right corner. Phillips is lunging full strength. The shot just goes wide of the right post, and an excellent effort, and Wrexham keep pushing on. 5 minutes later, there's a moment that I think some people felt was controversial. I absolutely don't think so, where Wrexham win the ball back in midfield. Crooks, the substitute, tries to get across to intercept, and there's an accidental collision with Smith. Crooks takes a blow to the head and goes flat on his back. Wrexham are in here. Lee is running at the two centre-backs. He can carry it to the edge of the area and get a shot off, or feed in McLean, who's in acres of space on the left-hand side. The referee stops play because it's a head injury. Wrexham aren't happy. The ref's 100% correct, isn't he? Absolutely 100% correct. It's a head injury. Stop play. And it did look a bit worrying the way the physios and the doctor were on treating Crooks. But he was okay and able to continue, thank goodness. But yeah, the referee, even though there was a very good chance it could have ended in a goal, completely right to stop play. Players' welfare comes first. 68th minute, Phil Parkinson decides to make changes. 4 to be precise. So the strikers are changed. Ollie Palmer and Jack Marriott come on for Smith and Hardy. On the right-hand side, Longman is replaced by Ryan Barnett, and Dean Windass comes in to replace Harry Ashfield in midfield. Straight swap, Windass playing in midfield. And before we can settle, we're behind, because about a minute and a half later, disappointing goal. Lundstrom plays a great diagonal out to Gelhardt. McLean's underneath it, but isn't able to intercept, and Gelhardt brings it down perfectly, rolls it across the face of goal. Simple finish by Undala to knock it in past the exposed Okonkwo, and Hull are ahead. Wrexham struggle at this point to really haul ourselves back into it. A short corner falls to Windass, who strikes a good shot from 25 yards. It takes a deflection and ricochets to the left of the goal. Marriott is really alert, gets there first, tries to rip the ball back in first time. It's an almost impossible angle. Phillips, well, let's just say, gambles and gets it right, because he comes chasing Marriott. I think he's right. It's the wise thing to do, because Marriott has no one between him and goal, but it's a pretty much impossible angle. I think Phillips rightly calculates that if he stays at his near post, Marriott's going to have time to bring it in and then assess the situation where he'll be incredibly close to goal and he'll have options to pull back. So he gambles that Marriott's going to try and rip it in quickly. Comes tearing out, makes himself big. He's way wide of his goal and he gets it right. Marriott tries to drive it in, and Phillips is able to get a touch and put it behind for the corner. But Hull now, since going ahead, are doing what I feared in the first half. They're controlling tempo, they're controlling possession, and all of a sudden, Wrexham look right out of it. It's only 2-1, but we are really toiling to get a grip on the ball. So Phil Parkinson does a Phil Parkinson thing. 12 minutes left, he goes to that old favourite, brings off Aaron James, brings on Lewis O'Brien, and we have the back four with the midfield diamond. Just like the last tranche of substitutions, though, before we can settle into the new shape, we've conceded again, and now it all looks over. 9 minutes left, and it's an odd goal. It's a frustrating goal. Ball comes in the box, Scar deals with it, heads out wide, but Wrexham were overcommitted on the right side. Of course, when we do this, it's a bit of a Hail Mary. We've left too much space. Palmer is able to intercept. He brings it in, runs down the goal line into the goal. It's a very tight angle. He tries to drive the ball into the goal mouth. It's blocked, ricochets back onto him, and looks like it's going for a goal kick. In fact, Wrexham shout for that, but he does ever so well, Palmer, to stretch and just hook the ball in. Anywhere will do. Kyle Joseph makes a run across Okonkwo at the near post. Not sure if he gets a little touch on it as well, but he definitely unsights Okonkwo, and the ball goes through, and all of a sudden Crooks is there in front of a complete open goal, taps it in, and the game's over, isn't it? Surely. Hull controlling the ball, 3-1 up, and Wrexham look a bit deflated. We work hard, but we are struggling to make chances. They start to come a bit, 3 minutes left. O'Brien combining really nicely with McLean whipping the ball in, and Lee smashing in a powerful shot which is deflected just over for a corner. Within a minute, Wrexham again with an opportunity. Barnett sweeping a lovely cross in. McLean, who's attacked the far post well a few times, gets up between his men. It's a chance, but he mistimes his jump and it goes well wide. So we enter 8 minutes of added time with Wrexham looking dead and buried. But then Ollie Palmer rolls up his sleeves, says, "Hold my pint," and he intervenes. His first goal is partly due to the intelligence of Josh Windass, who's now playing at the point of the diamond behind the two strikers. He gets the ball on the left, and he dribbles it in square. He's about 25 yards out, maybe a bit closer. He pulls Drame, the right back, out and into a central position. Crooks comes back to cover, but Hull aren't quite sure whether they should cover McLean or not. McLean is in a very wide position. Crooks decides he's going to just take an orthodox right back position and fill in for Drame, which makes sense. You know, they're trying to keep the back four tight. He's going to do a little stand-in job there. But of course what happens is that Windass, having pulled Drame out of position, spins 180 degrees, works McLean in, and the danger, of course, of doing what normally is the right thing is that McLean's got such quality on the cross, isn't he? So McLean has plenty of time to set himself. He tears in a beast of a cross to the far post, but it still needs some finishing. Palmer gets up brilliantly at the far post. It looks too high for him, but he really backpedals, stretches, gets on top of it and heads a massive header down inside the right post. A superb goal. Barely a celebration because he wants to get back on with business. And my goodness, he does. Because 69 seconds later, he scored again. In fact, 27 seconds after Hull kick off. This time what happens is a Hull work it to the left-hand side. Now, a couple of minutes earlier, Palmer had received the ball in exactly that position. Barnett had got touched tight to him. I'm not denying he put his hands on him. Does he foul him? I don't think so. The ref gives it. Wrexham are furious because Palmer basically stops play and says to the ref, "Give me a free kick. He's got his hands on me." I think the referee maybe thinks he might have been suckered into that a little bit. So when you get an almost identical scenario straight from Hull's restart, Palmer goes down, the referee doesn't give the foul. I think he's right. And Barnett, oh wow, I mean, having won the ball like that, absolutely barnstorming. He just tears down the right hand side and puts in the most perfect cross for Palmer. It's an easier chance, this, and he gobbles it up 6 yards out, bang, powerful downward header, and the whole stadium erupts. There's great video of fans charging back into the grounds because a lot of people were leaving, and then suddenly, wow, out of nowhere, we're back in this match. We don't manage to really get enough momentum to threaten a winner. In fact, in the 6th minute of added time, we nearly lose it. A misheader by George Evans. Kamara comes forwards, drills in a shot. Evans has made a really good recovery run, lunges in. I just gets a tiny nick on the shot, which sends it spinning and curling just wide of the right post. I thought at first Okonkwo got his fingertips on it. It wasn't. He was close to it though. I think he probably had it covered, but it's Evans' foot in that saves the day. And so it's penalties. Wrexham win the toss for ends, and Wrexham win the toss to go first. McLean arrives very early in the box, and you think, I hope he's alright with this. Hope he's not stewing over it. He's not, is he? He just stands there for ages, very nonchalantly, on his own in the box while the ref is talking to the goalkeepers, just juggling the ball. And when it's time, he puts it down, and he sends the keeper the wrong way. Palmer makes it 1-1. Lee puts one to the left. Keeper goes the right way, but it's a beautiful penalty right in the side netting, and it's 2-1 to Wrexham. And then up steps Ndala on loan from Man City, praised as one of the best players in the Under-17 World Cup. Was it 2023? He'd shown his real quality, but he steps up and drills it against the bar. Okonkwo goes the right way, and I think Ndala might see that and just decides to put a little bit of extra elevation on it. Just a tiny bit too much. So Wrexham have the advantage. 2-1 up after 2 penalties each. Windass steps up. Again, Phillips goes the right way. Again, it's a well-struck penalty. 3-1. Kamara scores. 3-2. Ollie Palmer now. Ollie Palmer. Please. It's all gone so beautifully for you. Please, let this not go wrong. It doesn't. It's a great penalty. The keeper hasn't got time to move. He just slams it in the bottom right corner and stands there, taking the adulation of the SToK Cold Brew Coffee end. Only the second player in our history to score as a substitute and then score in a subsequent penalty shootout. Juan Ugarte against TNS, the previous one. Giles steps up and sends a Okonkwo the wrong way. It's 4-3, 1 penalty left each. Jack Marriott to win it. Drills it inside the left post. No mistake. Wrexham go through 5-3. And wow, that was quite an evening at the SToK Cae Ras. Quite a game of football. Difficult to quantify what you can really say about it other than that, but after losing in the manner we did on Saturday, it was good to get a result like that, wasn't it? Great stuff from Wrexham, and we're through to the second round of the Carabao Cup, with a final score of Wrexham 3, Hull City 3, Wrexham win 5-3 on penalties. I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC.